This will be another one of my shorter videos ranking the figure girls based on their recent accomplishments. I'll be perfectly honest, while the figure girls all look amazing, I'm not as familiar with the division as some of the others. So what really impressed me while researching for this video is just how much these girls compete. This is not like the other divisions where you often have 3 or 4 only do the Olympia every year and the rest of the top 12 do one other show. These women may walk around in heels at low body fat levels year round, but they aren't afraid to get their feet wet or their hands dirty. So without further ado, here are your power rankings for the 2020 Miss Figure Olympia.
Number 10.
First off, we have a name a lot of people probably aren't too familiar with. Nicole Zenobia Graham rounds out the top 10. She has kind of a hot and cold history of placing in shows, but it appears that she has it figured out now as she's won her last 3 shows outside of the Olympia, including wins in Tampa and New York. I would definitely categorize her as one of the 2 dark horses this show.
Number 9.
9th place goes to Bojana Vasiljevic. It's kind of a fun name to say. She may have the best abs and figure. She's also one of the more recognizable faces after she's competed in 13 shows over the last few seasons. But she's good in a quiet way considering she snuck in a 2nd place at the Arnold this year and beat some of the much bigger names in the process.
Number 8.
Martina Yabakova takes 8th place. This is another girl that has competed her butt off the last couple of years. Her pro debut in 2018 saw her compete in 6 contests, including the Olympia. It'll be interesting to see how well she does this Olympia, as there's a few names below her that are pretty hungry and poised to move up.
Number 7.
Sandra Girhalis comes in at 7th. This is an interesting name that's kind of hard to analyze or place. A year ago, it seemed like she was on the verge of jumping into that top tier caliber of figure, but this year it seems like she might have taken a step back. She's actually one of the youngest and most marketable athletes in the division, so don't count her or her camp out just yet. Either way, this is a good opportunity for her to reestablish herself and prove it was just an off year.
Number 6.
So I complained about the last one being hard to place, and I guess this is karma for it. After winning a couple shows last year, Natalia Soltera went on to bomb the Olympia and not even place. But that looks like a fluke now because she turned around and won the Arnold earlier. So she should rank higher in this list, but I have to stick to my system and improve it rather than arbitrarily move her up. I guess you could say she was unfairly punished by the habits of the other divisions and that she should be higher on the list. As for her chances this Olympia, if she shows up similar to her Arnold appearance, I think she'll be a lock for top 5. I could even see her push for 3rd or 2nd, depending on how the chips fall.
Number 5.
One of the cool things about this sport is that while you see prodigies take off out of nowhere, you also see people slowly but steadily claw their way to the top over many years. Starling Horell is one of those people. It took her 6 years of competing in the MPC to attain her pro card. While her IFBB placings have been solid, there's still another upward trajectory to be found. She has placed 5th the last 2 Olympias, so I'm feeling a little bit better about my system. She's a very good gatekeeper for that top 5 placement.
Number 4.
Coming in at 4th place is Nadia Wyatt. She has by far the shortest resume on this list, but boy has she made it count. Her first 3 years in the IFBB were a huge struggle as she rarely placed in any contests. But the last 3 years have been the opposite, where her 3rd place Olympias were her lowest placings. She might just have the crispest physique and figure.
Number 3.
Jessica Reyes Padilla is a very nice and caring person, but that doesn't prevent her from going for the jugular while on the stage. She has very similar placings to Nadia in 4th, but a couple more contests plus a better 2018 season allowed her to gain the edge. I imagine the battle between the 2 will be close again this Olympia, and that's not to say they won't challenge the 2nd place person, as they both fell only a few points shy from her as well.
Number 2.
Latoria Watts makes 2nd place on my list. On the surface, it may appear that she's on the verge of dropping, but in her defense, she was punished for sitting out the 2018 season, yet was able to hold on. This is a 2-time winner, folks, so don't expect her to roll over and play dead. She is very in this thing.
Number 1.
First place goes to 3-time defending champ Cydney Gillon. I doubt anyone's surprised by this one, but I wouldn't say she's untouchable up here. She did lose the Arnold a couple of years back, so her score isn't really perfect either. But interestingly enough, she accumulated by far the most points out of any competitor in any division. This is partly due to her willingness to do the 2 of the last 3 Arnolds, so she basically accumulated points for 3 Olympia wins, along with the first and second place at the Arnold. Nobody that active has placed that well, so regardless or not, if you're a fan, you have to respect her standing. So there you have it. That's my power rankings for the 2020 Olympia figure. I try to be brief with this one, and I definitely learned some things about the division. If I do more of these lists in the future, I might have to make some adjustments as to how I score this in the fitness division, as these girls compete way more than I realized. Let me know in the comments who should be moved and why. Good luck, and as always, thanks for watching.